Welcome back to Generative AI 101, the podcast where we slice open the black box of AI and generative AI to see what's really ticking inside. I'm Emily Laird, your concierge in this tourist trap of algorithms and endless jargon. Last episode gave you a taste of OpenAI's O1 preview. Today we're popping the hood and exploring what we know about the AI engine and seeing what really makes it purr. This episode is all about the nuts and bolts of O1's advanced reasoning, its so-called chain of thought that keeps it from just blurting out the first thing that comes to mind, its safety measures, and what happens when you teach a machine to think more like a human, minus the existential crisis. So buckle in because we're about to go full mechanic on this AI. Welcome to Generative AI 101. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with this chain of thought business. So, sounds like a meditation technique, right? No, it's more like AI yoga for its circuits. The O1 model doesn't just react, it breaks problems into smaller steps, like how you might tackle putting together a piece of IKEA furniture. Instead of rushing through and realizing you missed a crucial bolt, O1 takes a deep breath and works through things systematically. And how does it get so zen about it? Well, reinforcement learning. Think of it like AI boot camp, where O1 gets trained to recognize its own mistakes, refines its tactics, and if things go sideways, try a different approach. Now, I know what you're thinking. Does it just sit there and philosophize forever? Nope. Its chain of thought is hidden, meaning while O1 goes through all these mental gymnastics, the final product is delivered neat and tidy, without you having to witness the gears grinding. Now, on to how this thing gets trained. You know how a good coach pushes you to get better without turning you into a robot? Well, O1 uses reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF for short. That means humans fine-tune its responses, shaping them so the AI thinks more like we do, aligned with our values and reasoning, but without picking up bad habits like doom-scrolling social media at 3 a.m. Even better, O1 doesn't need a mountain of data to get started. It's built on data-efficient training, using just enough info to avoid becoming the overeager student who crams and then forgets everything after the test. And O1 scales with use, meaning the more time it spends thinking, the sharper responses get. No shortcuts here. Now, AI safety is no joke, especially when you've got a model that can tackle the complexities of science and coding like it's solving a Sudoku puzzle. O1 has some built-in guardrails to keep things on track. It's like giving your AI a set of moral guidelines and a leash. All right, here's how OpenAI's model stays on the straight and narrow. They put it through what's called jailbreaking tests. So basically trying to see if some sneaky user can coax it into breaking its own rules. In one of the toughest tests, GPT-4o barely squeaked out a 22 on a scale of 100. But the O1 preview? So it strutted in and nailed an 84. If you're the type who likes reading the fine print, you can geek out over the systems card and research posts for all the juicy details. To match the model's growing brain power, OpenAI didn't mess around. They ramped up safety measures, teamed up with the feds, and set up some pretty hardcore testing protocols. We're talking the preparedness framework, best-in-class red testing, and safety reviews that get scrutinized at the board level. Because keeping things locked down isn't just a suggestion, it's a mandate. Now, is all this chain of thought just a clever marketing gimmick, or is this something more? The reality is somewhere in between. While O1 gives the appearance of pondering like a philosopher once you've prompted it, it's still just churning through tokens, those little chunks of language like every other AI. What's different is the emphasis on taking its time to refine answers, turning out something more precise than your average chatty bot. This focus on deeper reasoning represents this shift in AI development, a kind of evolution where machines aren't just fast, but smart about it. O1 is changing the game by being thoughtful, not just quick on the draw. So when you've worked with OpenAI's O1 preview, as I have, you prompt it and you start to see it giving you these little indicators of its chain of reasoning or chain of thought process, right? So it's thinking, again, thinking in air quotes, because it's not really thinking. It's running through protocols that sit under the hood behind the back end of this model, right? And so I think that that's important to recognize. But I don't want to walk through that and have you feel like I'm saying this isn't impressive, because it is. It's impressive in the benchmarks that have come out about it. It's impressive as you continue to watch people test it and find all the things that it can do, but it feels like a new, different experience. But I want to be clear that I don't think this idea that the model thinks is an accurate representation of everything that's going on underneath the hood of this model. And I do think it's a little marketing fairy dust that's kind of sprinkled on this. And there you have it, folks. Your peek under the hood of OpenAI's model. We've covered everything from its hidden chain of thought to how it gets trained and the safety nets keeping it in check. If you've got thoughts, burning questions, or just want to geek out on AI with me, you know where to find me. I'm on LinkedIn. Just search for Emily Laird, Laird. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious, stay adventurous, and remember, you now know more about what makes O1 tick than most people who've ever asked Siri for directions.